Welcome to online classes. Next chapter we have to discuss motion in straight line. Motion in straight line. In the previous chapter we have to discuss the various dimensional formula, various types of terminology which is to be related. Now we have to introduce the new chapters. After the introduction of this chapter, we shall discuss the chapter of error and measurements. Because if we does not interact with the chapter of this, so first we have to describe the basic studies here. Motion in straight line. How we can define the motion in straight line? Simply we have to see that mechanics. So first we have to describe the mechanics. Mechanics is the study. Mechanics is the study of that particular science in which if any object is given to us, what type of forces and its effects we have to study in the mechanics. Suppose we have a simple object here, and if this force is acting on this body, and if this force is acting on this object, what is its effect that is to be produced by the forces? We have to study the simple mechanics systems. The force and its effect. Is studied. Studies here. Mechanics basic has two parts. First is kinematics and another is dynamics. Statics, mechanics has two basic parts. Mechanics has two basic structures. It has two parts. First is static and second is dynamics. And second is dynamics. Basic structure of the mechanics is to be shown here. The first basic structure that is to be known as statics, and the second another structure that is to be known as dynamics. In statics, object is in static condition. Static condition. In dynamics, object is in motion condition. Object is in motion condition. Object is in motion conditions. If any object that is to be in rest condition and various types of forces is acting on a particular object, that studies is to be known as statics. Dynamics. If object is in motion conditions and we have to study that type of motion, that is to be known as dynamics. In dynamics conditions, there are two another varieties of here. First is known as kinematics, or another is kinetics. There are two varieties is also there. First is kinematics and another is kinetics. What is the kinematics? Kinematics is the study of science or physics. We have to see that if any object that is to be in motion condition, but we cannot see that what type of force is responsible for that particular task. Only consideration is to be on what is the velocity, what is the acceleration is acting on the object. So we have to study only the velocity and accelerations. So we have to study only for the velocity and accelerations. In kinetics, what type of force that is responsible for the velocity and accelerations? Because of that particular region, the velocity and acceleration comes in the existence. So we have to know the knowledge of forces also. So simple basic discussions here started for the kinetics and simple basic discussion of the kinematics. In kinematics we have to study what is velocity, what is acceleration, and what is another factors that should come in the objects. But we does not consider why this is coming here. So we have to consider on this particular task. In kinetics, force is to be taken as considered situations. And in kinematics, we only study the